It is episode 163 of Left Side Heavy the podcast. It's your boy, Jevin LaFave. We got co-host Hayden Barton, respectively, and we got reoccurring guest, good friend of the show, future brother-in-law, my boy, T. Renz from his house, Tanner Rennich out of Langley, BC. How's it going, my brother?
Good. What
How's
an
it
intro.
going?
Thanks, buddy.
I do my best. I do my best. I don't know. You just entered the call, pressed record, didn't think twice about it. But yeah, we're just firing on all cylinders right now. That went a lot better
Buzzing.
than I expected. Went a lot better than I expected. But all things good over there. All things good.
Oh yeah, man. Just been watching hockey every friggin' night after work. So hopefully
Yeah,
I can keep people updated.
it's almost like a second job. It's like fuck, another game to go. Not bad though. Crack open a Bud Light, sit back,
Well,
relax, kick your
maybe
feet
not a
up.
Bud Light, but
Oh, look at this guy.
Local liquor stores having a sale, 18 for 21 bucks. So I'll take it.
yeah, it's actually a good price. Can't beat it.
Yeah, who cares what you look like walking out of there? You're walking out with cheap beer.
I
Let's
don't care.
go.
Does the same damage, so I'll take it. Hayden, how's it going, buddy?
It's going good, man. Just got over or getting over a sickness. I don't know if you can kind of hear it in my voice,
Yeah, you
but
sound like shit.
yeah. It was even worse on Saturday. Holy fuck. I was fucked on Saturday, felt better Sunday. My foreman was like, when I came in on Monday, he's like, "Why are you in?" I'm like, "Well, unfortunately, sir, I need money."
Yeah, respectably.
I took off Friday, but fuck, I need money. I can't just have sick days every other day.
Yeah, no, can't do that. Can't do that. But Tanner, we're on a time crunch with you today. Um, you got some plans this evening. So we're gonna get at it quick. We are gonna talk playoff hockey first, but I feel like we'd be doing a disservice to not talk about the draft lottery first. Um, it was held Monday. We were recording Tuesday night, so it was held yesterday. But when this comes out, it was 2 days ago. Chicago Blackhawks won the draft lottery. They're most likely 99.9% chance they are getting Connor Bedard. They'd be fucking idiots if they went any other direction. But there's a little drama that evening as Kevin Weeks spilled the beans about Columbus going down from 2 to 3 before they even turned the card. And then they immediately went to commercial break, which threw Twitter into a fucking fire because it was almost they were putting the stamp on. There was a little funny business going on with the NHL draft lottery, blah, 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 blah. But Tanner, what are your thoughts on Chicago getting the first overall pick and winning the draft lottery?
How spoiled are Chicago fans, man?
Fucking
Like
pissed me
they
off.
they just get out of this era of like Patty Kane and Jonathan Tays, and then boom, right away they get Connor Bedard, like the next generational talent from like Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby type players. So I'd be pretty happy if I was a Chicago fan right now.
Yeah, it's I've never been so like pissed off after a draft lottery because like the three teams I like didn't want them to go to was Anaheim, Columbus, and Chicago because like Anaheim and Columbus are just like boring teams and like Anaheim's market is trash. And then Chicago, who obviously they've had an interesting past couple of years with the Kyle Beach situation and they just got two superstars leaving Chicago and they're getting rewarded with their terrible control of an organization with the next coming of Jesus. And it's just like, if any team doesn't deserve Connor Bedard, it's this fucking team. But if you look at it from a league perspective, it's like they struck gold with Chicago getting it because it's like the second biggest market in the States, original six franchise, great history prior to a couple years ago, and it's Bedard. So yeah, it made me so pissed off when I saw them get the first overall pick. But Hayden, what are your thoughts on um Bedard going to Chi-Town?
Well, Chicago got first, but Vancouver got double first. So I think we're winning with that
Yeah, we
conversation.
got 2 1s in our number, bitch.
Yeah, so call what you want, but yeah, no, him going to Chicago, that was literally my conversation this morning, Tanner, with one of my coworkers. He's like, "Oh, so I see Vancouver didn't get the first overall pick," and I'm like, "No, instead they lose Jonathan Tays, and now they're gonna be getting another great Canadian kid. How are you?"
Yeah.
And of course, it just happens to be like Jeff said, one or maybe second biggest, franchise in the States. So it's only fitting.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be very interesting. Obviously, like you said, Tanner, lucky Chicago. Um, because it's just going from the greatest American-born player currently, or like ever right now, in Patty Kane. He just left the roster, and there's chances he doesn't return. Do you think there's a chance Patty Kane returns if Bedard's on the team? Like, I know Patty Kane won't really care about a rookie, but do you think it'll maybe incentivize Kane to like, hey, you want to mentor this kid a little bit for maybe like a season, and then we can trade you again for a few other picks?
I don't think there's any chance. I think Patty Kane at this point in his career, he's just worried about chasing as many Stanley Cups as he can get right now. So I definitely see him going to another contender next year for sure.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
maybe
fair.
even staying in New York. So
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Hey, I'm gonna ask this question to you.
Okay.
Um, because I honestly think like the situation currently, Chicago sucks for Bedard because they have absolute plumbers on their team right now. Whereas like Anaheim, the market sucks, but they at least have like Zegers, Troy Terry, Drysdale. Like they have some good young players.
Yeah.
Um, where do you see like Connor Bedard's point range if you could put like an over under on Bedard's points? Because I mean, like he's first, but he's the roster development might be slower than other teams.
Yeah, that was kind of my concern with exactly where he's going was just how he's going to perform his first year. I have to imagine it's not going to be, or like the safest guess is probably just very average, rookie season, probably like around, I don't know, 20, 25 goals. Anything more is
Bonus.
just cherry on top. And then, maybe like a big progression standpoint would just be considering what Chicago is. If they threw him in on like the power play and he's getting like first or even second power play time, then just you just want to see him play.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all you can ask for. And setting your expectations at average and maybe even below average just to be like, "Oh, he's exceeding everything I had." I love it.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Tanner,
What
sorry, hey,
sorry,
what's
what
up?
was like Brock Besser's like rookie season? He had over 30 goals, correct?
He had 29,
Oh, he
and then
had 20 and 9.
he got hurt with like 20 games to go, and he was at
Okay.
29 goals.
So let's
So
assume he got 30. How many assists did he have? Do you know exactly?
I think he had like around 60 points. Like I think he had like a 30 and 30-year season. I'm not 100% sure though, but I think he was hovering around the 60-point mark.
So if he gets around 60 points around Brock Besser, then I feel like that's kind of what expected of him.
Yeah,
Anything
that's fair.
more and you're laughing to the bank.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's what I'm thinking as well, just because of Chicago's surroundings. Mind you, they have like a shit ton of cap space, so maybe they like
Add a few
um
veteran pieces.
yeah, add a few pieces here and there. But I don't know if you guys read the headline, but after they won the lottery, Chicago sold $2.5 million in season tickets for next season already. So
and we wonder why he went to Chicago.
oh yeah, that shit is so I've never believed a lottery was rigged more in my life than this one, just because of like, oh, Anaheim, Columbus, or Chicago. Obviously, they're Gary Bettman's not going to let him go to CBJ and sit in Ohio for and just like let a potential like millions come in for revenue. So, do you guys think that it was rigged to Chicago, or do you think it's all kind of satire?
I'll go first here. I thought before the draft, I had a feeling that it was rigged deep down. But like the thing I can't stop thinking about is like Gary Bettman does not like the Chicago Blackhawks organization because the whole Kyle Beach situation. Like there's this like black like fog all over Chicago. I think that Bettman would just say, no, it's okay about the money. Let's just go to Chicago, get more money, bigger market type thing, right? Like, I don't know. I just feel like Bettman wouldn't let that happen just like that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I just like with like the money standpoint from like COVID and stuff, I feel like this could maybe like help it out by going to one of the biggest markets. And I just don't think he'd want to see Bedard in like Columbus or a small market like Anaheim. But
Mm-hmm.
like I feel if that was the case, they'd maybe do it, they'd rig it more for like Canadians to jump up or save Arizona and have them jump up or like I feel there would have been more movement in the lottery if it really was rigged. So I can kind of
Right.
balance the line on that. I feel like they wouldn't wait for the top three to have some movement. But I don't know if you guys caught it. Like, did you catch the Kevin Weeks thing? Like slipping that uh Columbus had moved. What were your thoughts when you what was your reaction when you heard that hit? Because I was like, wait, what the fuck happened? Like I didn't see him flip the card. And
It
then
wasn't necessarily that I saw him do that. I wasn't watching the lottery. I was actually uh focusing up on some other stuff and watching the Oilers game. But my phone just started blowing up with tweets from like NHL analysts, and then even it made my way onto um like the starred tweets where it was like hashtag NHL rigged, and I'm like, okay, probably, but let's see. And then yeah, there was the clip of him saying, "Oh, and Columbus has gotten third," and it's like nothing's been announced, nothing's been
yeah,
shown.
yeah.
Like obviously this is so pre-done, and it's definitely not live, duh. But like, can we not have that aspect in it where people are reacting, to it live? Because God, that would make it so much more better. And if they rig it like somehow during the live, whatever. But like, come on, behind closed doors, and it's just this is bullshit.
Yeah, even if it is like Frank Saravalli saying it's as real as it gets, even if it is, prove it. Like double down on it and do it live if it's how you usually do it. Legit on TV, show the lottery balls going and then show each team's codes on paper,
Mm-hmm.
their chances, their numbers, whatever they get and whatever comes out. All right,
Happens, yeah.
legit. Okay, cool. Done. No more skepticism. But like the way they do it now is just like, trust me, bro. Trust me. It's like, how can we?
I don't really trust you actually.
Yeah, I that's actually the last thing I trust you with. All right, let's jump in the playoffs here. We're gonna start with the biggest thing. TO. Toronto down 3-0 to Florida. It's absolutely insane to me. I had TO in 6, so obviously that prediction is crushed, but they could still win in 7. Who knows? Only 4 teams have done it. Who says they can't be the 5th? Florida won 3 straight against Boston, the greatest team ever, and they've won 3 in a row against Toronto. Who says Toronto can't win against Florida 4 straight? But Toronto's just simply being outworked and outpumped by Florida Panthers. Tanner, what have been your thoughts on the TO Florida series so far?
I mean, it hasn't been too exciting. Like obviously the Tampa Toronto series was a bit more exciting, but like man, Bobrovsky has got back to like Vezina form, and it has made the Panthers such a better team. Like everyone was saying, oh, their defensive struggles going into playoffs, but with him playing at the level he is, it makes up for all those struggles. And Florida's just buzzing right now. They're just hot, and like that's what happens in playoffs. Team get hot, and you just run into them, and it sucks, man.
Yeah, Bobrovsky's like turning back the clock. It's similar to that Columbus team that swept Tampa. Bobrovsky was the goalie for that team as well. And we related it a ton is like they were playing meaningful hockey all 82 games where Boston kind of turned it off in like January. And
Right.
Toronto kind of had playoffs locked up as well in early spring or like late winter, I guess. But like Florida, they were working, and they've just kind of kept up momentum, the wheels turning, and they've caught in some flat teams and they've just rolled over them. But Hayden, what about you? I mean, like you're one of the few guys that picked Florida that I know at least. Um, in six,
I said 7.
seven.
I
Okay, it
was
was Ian who said
generous.
so. It was Ian who
Yeah.
said six. Fuck, they might do it in four.
They
The game. The
I
game
think they
is
could.
tonight. The game is tonight when this is uploaded. But what about you? What have been your thoughts on the series?
I've absolutely loved it. I know it hasn't been competitive in the sense where it's like Toronto doesn't have a win, but seeing Florida play as a team that has nothing to lose, and it always makes me think of the saying where it's like, we're going to crush you, and then backfires as, yeah, we might not crush you, but if you do, no one will ever let you forget it. And
Yeah,
it's like no one's gonna let Toronto just go past the first round and then not even compete in the second round,
yeah.
basically. Because it's like, oh, you technically still went out in the first round. You didn't even perform.
Toronto still
And
hasn't won a game in the second round
in the
since.
second round,
Yeah.
see, like that will be the saying.
Yeah.
So I honestly think that tomorrow or tonight we could be watching a sweep. You don't think Florida wants this at home?
Oh my God.
Bobrovsky, like Tanner's saying, is playing lights out, play on his fucking head. Montour, Verhage, Reinhardt, and like every Florida and Kachuk, like everyone on there, you could just say is like a fucking dog.
Yeah.
Like they are playing with nothing to lose, and it is scary.
Yeah, it's especially Sam Reinhart. I noticed him a ton in game three, obviously because he scored the OT winner, but even before that, he was driving the play a lot. And it just seems like everything's clicking for Florida right now. And they got to keep the foot on the gas because like the big dogs for Toronto hasn't showed up. And when they do, Toronto obviously can be a scary team, but they haven't JT hasn't scored in like he scored one goal in like 7 games or something like that. And Marner, Nylander, and Matthews haven't scored in like 4 straight games.
They've been dry as fuck.
So they haven't been producing. Morgan Riley's been the only guy who showed up. Samsonov got hurt, so Joseph Wall is starting game 4. So like despite how good Wall has been, they gotta make sure that they turn it up. It's almost too late, but like it's still possible. It's not over till game 4 is finished or till
Yeah,
like the
they just have
fourth
no
game is
momentum.
won. It's just they're a little too late to start turning it up a bit. And Florida has one good game and their playoff hopes are done. So it's like Florida needs to keep the foot on the gas. They can't let Toronto get back in this at all.
Agreed.
Does
Yeah.
Florida finish the sweep?
No,
No?
I don't
I
think
say
so.
yes.
I could see like Toronto winning the next 2 games and then Florida finishing it out. I just think Toronto has too much to lose, and those big guys know that. Like those guys are gonna show up the next 3 or 4 games, however many they play. They're gonna like do everything they can, and that's what kills them, right? When those guys don't come to play, they lose.
Yeah.
Those guys need to put up points for them to win.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't think Florida finishes the sweep. I think Toronto wins the next 2 games as well, and then I think Florida closes out in 6. I think I just can't think of a world where like Toronto, like Matt, like I can't doubt Toronto because I've done it too many times. Like I just think there's gonna be one game where like they might win next game like 5-1, and then it's like, oh shit, are they cooking right now? And then I think they might get on a roll, and then Florida might just catch another overtime win and finish the series off. I'm cheering for Florida, but I just have a feeling this will happen. Um, we're gonna go to currently the game on right now. Carolina, New Jersey. Carolina is leading the series 2-1 and most likely 3-1 because they are currently winning 6-1. Right now. They are blowing I think they scored 5 goals this period alone in the third. Just blowing the doors off New Jersey right now. Um, it's been blowouts this whole entire series. If I'm not mistaken, I think Carolina won 5-1, 6-2, lost 8-4, and now they're winning 6-1. It's something
Yeah.
around like that.
Yep.
So it's just been nothing but blowouts. Goaltending's been irrelevant in this series. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I just keep doubting Carolina the wrong year. I'm doubting Carolina. I've picked them to go deep the past couple of years, and they early exits, and now I chose them to lose in the first round, and they're probably going to go to the Cup final. But hey, what have been your thoughts on New Jersey, Carolina so far?
I think New Jersey has been hella underperforming, not matching up to the Hurricanes level at all. And we talk shit about Carolina not getting any depth and any uh just pieces before the deadline, and then they come up and they're spanking the Devils and then getting spanked. There's no in between.
Yeah, there's farting in my mouth right now. It's pissing me off.
Yeah. And I thought the Devils would take this one in 7 because of how they just like manhandled New York after 2 games, but this is shocking. Absolutely shocking. I can't say that I ever expected the Hurricanes to, if they were going to win, at least have it be 1 goal games, not
Yeah,
3+ goal games. Like, this is insane.
yeah, it's crazy. Tanner?
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the series I've watched the least, but like it was tough to pick Carolina the last 2 series just with like their injuries. Like losing Svechnikov is huge, and then they also lost Teravainen. It was like, man, I don't know if Carolina can do this, man. Like they don't have that much depth up front, but they keep finding a way to getting it done. And I mean, kudos to them, man.
Yeah, I think this is really where you're seeing I mean, Lindy Ruff isn't a terrible coach, but I just think Rod Brendamore has been coaching them up a lot better. And their goaltending's been far more consistent. Yeah, they had a shit game 3 and let in 8 um between the two of them. But I mean, Freddie has been a lot more solid than Vanacek or Schmidt. It's just New Jersey hasn't gotten the stops, and Carolina's what I was kind of going against them with is all lines are working for them. Like their D are getting involved as well. And just Aho's he's playing like a beast out there right now, and a lot of Carolina's forwards are in general. And I think this is going to be an early series in 5 for Carolina. I've seen nothing from New Jersey for me to trust them in any game going forward. And I think Carolina is going to close this out after this game back at home.
I was thinking that same thing last series against New York, though, but they came on hot the next 3 games, man. I don't know. I in playoffs, I'm never counting anyone out. I think, fuck, Toronto can come back for all I know. I don't know. That's why playoffs are awesome, man.
Yeah, that's fair. I just
100%.
I've seen nothing from even New Jersey let in 3 shorthanded goals on the same power play or some shit like that. It was just they they scored 8, but they let in at least 2 shorthanded goals on the same power play last game.
What the
And
fuck? I didn't know that.
and Carolina scored 3 shorthanded goals in that game. And it's okay, bro. Yeah,
You
you
guys
want
know that you have the man up?
yeah, it's you won 8-4, but you let in 3 shorties. Figure it out. Just with that, yeah, your scoring was hot that game, but if it wasn't, you'd be hooped. And you can play the what if game all you want. It's just I haven't seen any consistency from New Jersey, and I don't know if it's gonna come anytime soon. At least it came by it stayed consistent after game 3 against New York. But right now, just they haven't been able to find a groove. But hey, how do you see this series finishing off?
Uh, to say I see it finishing off, other than the Hurricanes winning in maximum 6 games, is going to be hard to tell. But like Tanner said, playoffs are awesome. They're unpredictable as shit. So I still like my Devils in 7. They've proven that they can do it. yeah, it might be sloppy, but they gotta they gotta really buckle down and recognize that you still have after this game, you still have 3 more games.
Yeah,
You win each one and go game by game, and win every day, and it can happen.
it
New
can.
Jersey needs their goalies to show up. That's the
Yeah,
key for the next 2 games
A
here.
100%, hundred
I
percent.
I agree. That's been like I think the only thing that they haven't really gotten because without goaltending, your forwards are like everything shot down. No motivation, like everything, all the drive is gone if you can't get a save. So if they can get a
Mhm.
save, then it influences everything else up front. So if they can get that going, then everything else can get going because that's what Schmidt provided in game 3 against New York. Gave him a save and New Jersey took off. So I agree with that. Um, Edmonton, Vegas. Um, Another series where it's been nothing but shootouts right
Blowouts.
now. Vegas is up 2-1 in the series. Leon continues to put the puck in the back of the net. Edmonton with one of the worst performances I've seen out of any team in these playoffs so far in terms defensively and just not being able to get anything going. Um, yeah, Vegas has been very solid. Um, Brossoit is being evaluated for an injury. Don't know his condition right now or whatever, how long he's going to be out, if he is going to be out at all. Don't know his status. But yeah, it's just inconsistencies from Edmonton. Um, but yeah, 2-1. I don't think the series is going to end anytime soon. I think it's going to go the distance. But Tanner, what have been your thoughts on Edmonton Vegas?
I have to agree with you on that. I think for sure this is going to 7, man. This series has just been like such a good series to watch. I mean, ton of goals. There's been ton of fights, ton of rough shit, old time hockey. Like, love watching this series, man. I mean, it could go either way in my mind.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, Evander Kane when he was just going to town on that guy in the corner, it was just like
Fuck
not
around,
even
you find out.
yeah, fuck around and find out. That picture of the fan giving him the
The
double bird,
jersey. Oh yeah.
blowing her a kiss. Oh, it's hilarious. The Twitter fights from Vegas and Edmonton's accounts have been amazing. I don't know if you've been following that. If you
Love
haven't,
it.
make sure you follow both those accounts and just the interaction's been elite. Um, Vegas is calling them the Edmonton Drysettlers because he's the only one that seems to score on the team. It's been hilarious. I hate Vegas, but their social's been elite. But hey, give me your 2 cents on the series so far.
Love this series. And to continue on with the Evander Kane shit, I don't know if you guys saw it as well, but there was a fan that already did like a repatch name
Oh yeah, I
on
did.
Kane's jersey, and it was like F around, find out on the back of it. And the Oilers account even tweeted, it's like, you guys work fast.
Yeah.
So no, this series, yeah, it's been electric. Unfortunately, no tight games, no real like nail biters, but some great hockey, like, and great scoring from both teams. And where Vegas has the depth scoring, it proves that the Oilers right now don't, because it's like it's Draisaitl, McDavid, and everybody else. Where it's like Vegas, it's like Stone's getting into the mix, and then you got literally almost the goaltenders as well
Yeah.
scoring because everyone's just a point magnet for them. So yeah, it's awesome to see for Vegas.
Yeah, last game 3 was one of the worst defensive games I've ever seen from Edmonton. Like the first goal from White Cloud when he scored short side, I think it to put him up by 2 or by 1 or like put him up 2-1 or something like that. It
Mhm.
was one of the worst defensive mishaps I've seen. And then it just the floodgates opened after that. And I was watching like Vegas, first of all, it wasn't just a bad defensive effort from Edmonton. It was one of the best defensive efforts from Vegas. The way they were blocking shots and getting sticks in lanes, they weren't letting any cross seam passes through. They were stick checking McDavid like crazy. Mark Stone is unfucking believable as per usual. Like Edmonton just couldn't get any offensive going. And whenever Vegas would counter, Edmonton would lose a man Bouchard, of course, blew a tire, but I'm pretty sure Eichel would have turned him anyway. And I just think everything was clicking for Vegas. They played a near perfect game 3 as opposed to Edmonton. I don't think one single thing went right. So I think that was the real difference maker, and it could be huge momentum swing. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah. Bouchard had a rough game last game, man. I think he was on the ice for like almost every goal.
Yeah, it was tough.
And then cherry on top was when he fell over, I don't think he just caught an edge, man. I think like Eichel like did like a little hezzy, like he was going inside and then went outside quick. I think
Broke him.
fucking broke his ankles, man.
Yeah, I watched it back and I'm like, yeah, he got taken. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
It was a sweet move by Eichel.
And Hayden, we were talking about Skinner, like commenting about his goaltending. I just don't think like that Marchessault goal, I think he could have been more aggressive and like cover the puck in front of him instead of just staring at it like a kid in a candy store. But that White Cloud short side shot, obviously goalies should have that, but I mean that was just a hell of a shot. That Eichel goal, I don't think a lot of goalies are stopping that. And I just think he was rattled, and you can't really do that, but I don't know. It was just like it was a really tough spot because he wasn't getting any defensive help either, like I was saying. So Edmonton's goaltending does need to be a lot better. And I've never seen a definition of puck don't lie more than that game when Martinez crashed into Skinner, which I think I could see it going both ways. Tanner, I don't know what your stance on that goaltender interference was. I understand the call, but I could see if it wasn't. But I think like Martinez didn't really make an effort to get out of the way. I think he kind of looked like he was going into Skinner when he didn't really need to, or Campbell, I guess. Sorry, but did you think it should have counted or not, the goal interference?
First off, I just hate how that rule is like not black and white at all. It's like such a judgment call rule, and like that's what I hate about it. But I don't think it was. I think it was goalie interference. Like he clearly skated into his pad and pushed. Like it was Skinner, right? Or was it Campbell?
It was Campbell. It was Campbell.
Campbell out of the way, and then they got an easy goal. So I think it was goaltender interference. But yeah, it's just a dumb rule, kind of.
Yeah, it's so hard to judge nowadays. It's like a catch in football. It's like, all right, what is it? What isn't? It's very tough, but something that shouldn't be hard to judge, but it is. But yeah, I did think it was goal interference, but like if it wasn't, whatever. But then what? Fucking 15 seconds later, Vegas scores again. So like, why does it matter?
Yeah, that was a fucking piss off and a half.
I was like, let's go, momentum swinging back to Edmonton, and then fucking Stevenson scores. It was like, fuck you, man.
They panned to fucking Woodcroft, the Oilers head coach, and he was just like, fuck me, what else do I got to do here?
I think he was already looking down. He's like, please be offside. Please be offside. Yeah, it was the biggest puck don't lie moment I've ever seen. But it was, I think overall what we could take from it was just Edmonton played one of their worst games of the year, let alone the playoffs or let alone the series. I just think they played like shit. And Vegas played one of their better games because Brossoit, he got hurt too. It looked like he may have torn like his ACL or something like that when he pushed over, non-contact injury.
It or his groin or something like that.
I was thinking his groin, yeah.
It could have been anything like that, but he couldn't put any weight on his left side. It looked terrible. And then Aiden Hill comes in and just shuts the door as well. So I just think everything was clicking for Vegas. And I think Edmonton plays slightly better and Vegas plays slightly worse. Then I think it's a lot closer game. And I still think we have a hell of a series on our hands. But if it does finish prior to next time record, how do you think this series goes? Do we all think it's going 7? I don't think it's going any less than 6, but
7.
What do you guys think? Who's
7.
your pick? Who's your pick?
I'm gonna go Edmonton. I think they turn it around.
Ed?
I gotta stick with the Edmonton Oilers. Gotta stick with the pick.
Are you going 7 as well?
Yeah, stick with the 7 as well.
Yeah, I had Edmonton in 6. but I just can't see it going any less than 7. So I'm gonna say Oilers in 7, loyal to the oil. Have you
Oilers over here.
have you been following the Heat Daddy on Twitter?
I haven't.
Dude, follow his account and you'll be stuck in a wormhole for hours. Yo, his tweets right now is it's hilarious, man. He keeps tweeting about loyal to the oil. It's been amazing. But if you want a good follow on Twitter, hit him up. But Tanner, do you have time for one more series quickly? We can
Yeah,
quickly get your
yeah,
insight on it.
we can buzz through it here.
All right, Seattle, Dallas. I mean, I think it's been so clearly Seattle right now. It's been absolutely fucked. They've been working Dallas. They look they made Ottinger look like a JV goalie in game 3. It was unfucking believable. But Tanner, to get your point across first, what have been your thoughts on the Kraken and Stars thus far?
Well, just in general, very surprised by the Kraken, man. Like, it's just another one of those expansion teams with all that depth that like can come at you like nonstop, and it wears
Yeah,
down on teams. And then with Dallas, I just think Dallas is a super inconsistent team. Like some games they'll find their scoring and they'll be like, "Holy shit, this could be one of the best teams in the league." And then other games, it's like, "Fuck, where'd all this scoring go, man?"
yeah, I know. Like, yeah, like Pavelski scores 4, and then like RoboCop hasn't like I feel like I haven't heard his name,
Rupe,
and yeah,
fucking seen that guy all series. He's done nothing. And last series, he's lighting it up.
yeah, it's been all Seattle right now, and like you said, they just come in waves with their depth, and like they don't have like a superstar on their team, but Grubauer stepped it up, which I did not see coming. I thought they were first round exit solely because of him, but like he's been playing unbelievable so far, and Seattle's just played much better across their entire roster, where like Dallas hasn't shown up really much at all, and yeah, I think it could be a quick series in terms of Kraken if Dallas doesn't turn around. But hey, it would have been. What's your opinion on the series so far?
Utter shock, just with how much Seattle has been working Dallas
Yeah,
is absolutely shocking. And I know Seattle has depth out the yin yang, but surely you got to figure, all right, maybe Dallas's like power player, line one, surely gets the upper hand on, a couple of Seattle's line ones, but no, the match to match play has been unreal. And Seattle, like you said, Jeff, is making Ottinger look like a JV goalie. Like, tell me last year or going into the playoffs this year that Ottinger would be getting work like this after knowing what I know he can do. I'd say you're full of shit.
yeah,
and
same.
and now he's coming to fruition and playing like shit. And it's like, okay, this guy is human. So this is a little bit weird for me. So it's just what will happen next? I have no idea. It's if game 4 goes good for Dallas tonight, then I can see it going 7. But if Seattle wins this, man,
Yeah, I agree. It'll be insane. In no multiverse did I expect Grubauer to outplay Ottinger or Gorgiev in either
no.
series. And he's props to him, man. He's betting on himself and he's on his revenge tour right now. He's just playing way better than everyone in front of him, and he's stopping pucks that he needs to, and he's giving Kraken a chance to win. And they're getting behind him there. It's been quite unbelievable. But what do you guys think Dallas needs to do to turn it around here?
Um, First off, Ottinger needs to get hot again or find his game at least. Not get hot even, just like play what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Make the important saves, not maybe the huge saves. And then I don't know, man. I just feel like Dallas has like if they get a few go down early or something like that, they have like this. If you pan to their bench during the games, they're like all like not smiling, like no emotion at all. It's like this team, it's like they just lose interest after they maybe go down early and they have no fight back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
So
I see the same
they
thing.
just need to find some consistency, and I mean, they need to start scoring.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's as easy as that. Like they need to get on Seattle fast, and Ottinger needs to give them a save. If they can get some just like average goaltending, I think this is a completely different series. But a lot of the goals that Ottinger let in game three were ones he definitely should have had. And not even saves like I've seen him make, but like just that below average goal he make in the NHL are ones that he should have had. And he let him through. And I think that really took a lot out of Dallas. And they're like, fuck, what do we do? Our goal is not hot right now. And when you have to throw Wedgwood in a playoff game, you're not looking too hot. You're not looking too good. So, hey, what are your thoughts on what do you think Dallas needs to do? Um, if you
You
have any.
guys, no, you guys hammered the nail on the head there. Consistency, scoring, Ottinger actually coming to play. If all of those things can work for 80% of the game, I could always see Dallas winning against Seattle. But it's just everything's not working. So, in the percentage wise, they're playing like 40% capacity of what they could really be playing as. And it shows. It
Yeah.
showed last game. And morale, like Tanner was saying, morale needs to be high. You need to have your leaders like pumping your tires and saying, like, what the fuck's going on, boys? Let's actually do some plays. Let's get pucks in the net, and then let's help out our boy and not let him face, you know, 20 shots for this night. Like let's actually try and be a dominant team because Dallas can. They'll lock you up, but they just aren't playing like that.
Yeah.
You think they would have that morale boost too with their leadership group, man? Like they got
Right?
Pavelski and Jamie Benn. Like those guys are been in the league forever, but I don't know. Also,
You'd think.
tough break for Heiskanen last game. Takes a biscuit to the face, and then they pot one right after.
Yeah, I
I think
and
I just got to notice he is playing this game.
I figured he would be. He's
Yeah,
gonna have a bubble on, but
yeah,
definitely.
uh and Eberle scored like an absolutely disgusting goal right after that too. Like it hit off his face, and then Eberle did like a 360 dangle and hung Ottinger's
yeah,
underpants from the crossbar. It's just like, man, you didn't gotta do that. You have to do that to Jakey after Heiskanen took a bomb off the face.
yeah,
Um,
tough break.
I saw a tweet from Heat Daddy. He's like, "Who the fuck like missed the net by 75 feet and hit Heiskanen in the face?" I was dying laughing. Hilarious. But Tanner, how do you see this series playing out? That is
Uh,
my next podcast, of course.
I think Seattle's gonna pull it out. I mean, just the way they're playing, their consistency. I mean, and I think it's a cool story for them. I mean, I hate to see these franchise teams like go far in playoffs because like fuck, Canucks can never do this. But um, I mean, good for them. They're playing hot, so they deserve it.
Yeah, that's fair. Hey,
Like I said, it depends on how this game goes tonight. If Dallas doesn't win this game, I say Seattle takes it in 6. If Dallas does win this game, Dallas in 7.
I think I picked Dallas in 7, I think, and I'll stay on that boat. I'll respect my pick there. But yeah, I think Dallas takes this. But I mean Seattle is making it really hard for my pick to be right. And every single team that I picked to win was down in the series 2-0 or 2-1. And I picked Toronto, New Jersey, Edmonton, and Dallas. So stay hot, Jevin. Anyone listening, pick the opposite of me always. Because I was 2 for 8 the first round. It was tough. It was tough.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was tough beans, boys. It was tough beans. Um, Tanner, heading out, or do you have time to stay
yeah.
on?
I got a jet, boys. It's been a
Yeah.
pleasure.
Thanks
Sorry I
for coming
couldn't
on,
stay
buddy. I
longer, but
appreciate it.
yeah,
As
All right.
always.
Yeah, I appreciate it, buddy. And we'll see you on the next an episode pretty soon here.
yeah. Get me on soon. I'll chat with you guys soon. Okay. Talk to you
Yeah.
later.
See you, Dan.
Sounds good.
All right, that was Tanner Rennich, recurring guest of the show. Great guy all around. Can't complain about T Daddy right there.
All right, now
Um,
time to start the actual podcast recording.
yeah, I was not recording whatsoever there. Joke's on him.
Oh boy.
Go fuck yourself. No, but well, I had a question of the week this episode, but with Tanner's few minutes, I wanted to at least make him valuable. So like talk about the main stuff. We'll get to question of the week at the end of the show. But we'll start from the second point down. Um, Valery Valery Nichushkin, Valery Nichushkin. There are some updates surrounding his departure from Seattle in the first round. I don't know if anyone listening, it's been big news that he abruptly had to leave and fly back to Colorado due to personal reasons. And then it came out that he was escorted out by police and put into a black car, and then no one really knew what happened. But it turns out that Nichushkin had a woman in her hotel room and she needed 911 assistance because she was nearly unconscious because of alcohol poisoning. And from that point, that never looks good. And if I'm not mistaken, the woman didn't have any sort of identification or a passport on her. So from that point, with alcohol poisoning, it never looks good. And Hayden, I just want to get your input on here. I don't want to make any sort of like allegations on Nichushkin because as we might get to later with the Buffalo Bills punter, I don't want to put a label on anyone until I have 100% of the facts because I don't think that's fair. But I'm just know like this image on the surface, it doesn't look good for Nichushkin.
Yeah, surface image, speculating. It just doesn't look good in general. Nothing about this situation just screams that there's any sort of purity or innocence in any way, shape, or form. Someone in each party is a victim and one is a suspect. How it goes down, we'll have to see how it plays out. Just like you said, on surface level, doesn't look good.
Yeah, so according to the police report, the woman told police that she was from Russia and was born in Ukraine. She also stated that she should never have come to the United States and that some guy took her passport and that he was a bad person. And she was drinking in the hotel room, was awake 1 second, and then started fading. And when 911 and everyone came to the hotel room, she was lying down by the front door. So, following the incident, Avalanche revealed that Nichushkin wasn't with the team due to personal reasons, but never divulged any further information. Nichushkin had missed the team's morning skate and did not rejoin the team during their eventual first-round loss to the Kraken in 7 games. So, I mean, we'll see what information comes out further, but I'm hoping that because, like Nichushkin, he's just coming off a big signing with Colorado, very good breakout year last year. Very solid player at the start of this year before he was hurt for a while, but he's a very solid player. I'm just hoping that this sort of thing like doesn't hurt him. Obviously, if he did do anything, then he doesn't deserve to be in the league because playing in the NHL and being a professional athlete's privilege, and like you can't be going around and doing this shit. But I just hope that everyone in the situation is okay and that I don't want to paint a bad image on the guy, but just like from the reports there, that's the updates with Nichushkin on why he left the series versus Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Anything more to say on the subject, Hayden?
No, not really. I hope everything in this situation gets resolved and there's some clear-cut answers as to what exactly went on, because as you said, playing as a professional athlete is certainly a privilege. So no one should ever take that for an advantage and think that they're above anyone else,
Yeah,
because you do that, you're a piece of shit.
I agree. We're gonna stay in Colorado because we have injury news on Gabriel Landeskog. The Colorado captain left, if I'm not mistaken, left last year's playoffs early due to a knee injury, and then um was to get off-season surgery, was supposed to be only out a couple months, but then it turns out he's going to be out for 4 months, or like maybe like around 4 months, and then it turns out 6 to 8 months, and then it was like, no, he's not. Everyone thought they were like Colorado was taking advantage of the LTIR money for playoffs, and he was going to return, and Colorado was going to be a wagon, but then comes out, Landeskog is going to miss the entirety of the playoffs, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, okay, they weren't just caps like circumventing the cap, like he's legit hurt. Like
He's actually hurt.
what's going on? Like he was only supposed to be out 4 months, and now he's out the entire year, including playoffs. Like obviously something went wrong, and now reports have come out that he's going to miss the entirety of next season as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when this episode comes out, he will be undergoing cartilage transplant surgery in his knee. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that doesn't sound good.
Sounds like you're not supposed to usually have that on an everyday basis.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound like a splinter or stub toe. That sounds a lot more serious. But like, are you kind of blown away as I am? Like, I did not see this
I
coming
mean,
whatsoever.
yeah, of course you never see it. Like, especially when the original reports are spoken into weeks and then short months. Now it's long months, and now it's a whole fucking year.
Yeah.
And it's like we're not even done this year. Like we still have another 5 months to go until the season begins. Like, how are we already how is it gone that bad? How is something with the highest up of medical professionals, how has it gone so wrong?
Yeah.
And is it something with the team doctors? Is it just Landeskog, relatively being old and being a sports player? Like, what could possibly be happening right now?
Yeah, it's honestly very surprising that like I was not kind of expecting this at all. And I want to correct myself. Um he missed time towards the end of the 2022 season after having knee surgery on the same knee in March 2022. However, the Colorado Star returned for the team's Stanley Cup run and registered 20 points in 20 games. So he did return for playoffs, and then following the cup run, gets surgery on his knee or something. He was out with a knee injury, and then this report comes out that he's going to miss the entirety of next year as well with cartilage transplant injury. Do a lot of people are going around like, I hope this isn't the end of his career. I mean, like, I feel like that's a bit excessive with today's like medicine and like kind of how advanced it is and like how good the rehab processes are and just like how recoveries can go a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have any anticipation or like suspicion that this might be the end of it for Landeskog? He's only 28, but like, do you kind of suspect anything?
Looking at it right now, it's glim. The light at the end of the tunnel seems to be nearer and nearer every day, especially with how worse and worse it's getting. Like the only time I've ever sort of like this was when Alex Smith broke his leg and it almost had to be amputated, and he missed a whole year, came back in, played a snap, like his first snap, and it was just a celebratory leap and a celebratory breath of fresh air. And I feel like that's maybe how this should be looked at now, is because this is a serious injury to him, and especially in the knee. Like, you might actually need your legs to push off in skating.
Yeah, it really
If
helps with the
I'm wrong.
stride. Yeah, it helps with the
I
stride for sure.
I thought so. So, speaking of all of that and saying all of that, um, I'd say his chance of retirement right now is like in the 80 percentile.
You think it's that high?
Fuck, he's won a cup now.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the Avalanche captain. He's had a for what or for how many years he's played, he's had a great run. And why not end it on a high note? You know, you'll never have to work another day in your life.
Yeah, that's fair.
Become something else in the hockey industry. Just don't ruin your life because this seems like such a serious injury.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I think he still returns. I think just the competitive drive in him, I don't think he's gonna hang him up quite yet. Um, I think he's gonna take his time recovering from this, and then he's gonna come back, see how it plays out, and then maybe take it from there. But I think it solely depends on how the rehab process goes. If he's getting a ton of setbacks, because he's already had so many procedures on his knees that like I can understand retirement, but I just think like he just signed a contract, like a $56 million contract, and I think he's gonna want to come out and play at least some of that out. And
Mhm.
obviously health comes first, but I just anticipate him returning for a bit and then seeing how the rehab process goes, see what directions he can take, and then go from there. But I wish the best for Landeskog because he's a solid player. He's tough, skilled, and he's hot. So it's like fuck, guy's got it all.
He's got it all.
He's got it all, and he's had a hell of a career. Like you said, he's made a boatload of money, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does hang it up. But I think he's gonna come back for at least not make such a quick decision on it because it is not an easy decision, right? Retirement's
No.
heavy.
Yeah.
But I think he comes back and plays.
I'm looking at what exactly cartilage transplant is from jointsurgeon.com/orthopedic services. It says that osteoarthritis, worn cartilage, is the most common joint condition. The most common form of it is in the knee. So obviously this is pretty common to see, but it also is the like biggest causer of chronic pain and very, very much limits movement in the knee. And every like every year, instead of it wearing away like 1 year, it almost wears away like 2 to 3 years per year. So
So wears like three times as fast. Is what
yeah,
you're saying?
exactly. Yes, exactly. And it it also defects the bone right beneath the cartilage. So if it gets any worse, it could really actually fuck his leg. Like his whole leg his whole lower leg could be just absolutely shit
So remember when
by
I
who knows when.
so remember when I said he's coming back? Yeah, I think it's a lot more complicated than that. I think you're gonna have to put your competitive drive aside and really assess the situation because it seems as if you just walk around too much, then your leg could get fucked up, let alone risking block shot, knee on knee,
Every
every
day for your
every
professional career.
everyday training, road trips, pre-work. Like that's a lot of wear and tear on your knee for one that's already had many procedures on it. You already had a knee surgery on that same exact knee less than two
Yep.
years ago. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
it's
mean,
hard.
I really think like I gotta go back with you. Like, I think he's like 60 to 75% chance like he hangs him up because like I didn't know that knee surgery was that bad. Like
Yeah.
that like worrisome. And
Uh,
yeah, it's a very tough situation. So all the best to Landeskog because I just was not expecting any of this. I was like, oh, knee surgery, okay, he just needs some work done. Nope. Two
Dig a
and a half.
little deeper, find out that he's actually could really just lose a leg if he's not careful with it.
Yeah. So do you think this changes Colorado's offseason plans at all? Like, you have to go and try and replace that level because it's still their window to try and win, right? Like, I don't
Yep.
think they stick with Lars Eller or Alex Newhook as their 2C. Like, I think they got to
No.
go out and at least now with they can put Landeskog's contract on LTIR and like open up some cap a bit more to like really go out and maybe put some draft picks aside to go get someone. Like, do you think they do that or do you think they just kind of
Oh
roll
yeah.
what they got and maybe rely on
Oh,
picks or something?
you have to assess the situation and realize that if he's already out, declared out, rework his contract because fuck paying, you know, I don't know what it is on Cap Friendly exactly how much he's making, but I have to assume it's in the high millions. So you
I think
have
it's
to
like
definitely
7 to 8 million he's making a year. It's 56
I was
million
gonna
dollars over 8 years.
I was gonna say 8 million. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Kudos.
Uh but yeah, if you shorten that or like can make it smaller somehow, like in the NFL, I know the easiest way to do this is to just make like if it was 8 million, make 7 million of it roster bonus, rework it, and then put them to like a vet minimum. I don't know exactly how you could do it in the NHL, but to work around the cap, you have to because, uh, like I said, there's no way as a GM I'd ever go paying someone $7.5 million a year for not playing. Like I know
Yeah.
he's injured and I know he's our captain, but fuck all that. We need money, bitch.
Yeah. So like Landeskog is in on the LTIR and they get, I think, a $7 million relief um
Oh,
off
well,
his
there you go.
contract, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm looking at this correctly. Um yeah, salary relief. Landeskog is the only one on LTIR. $7 million, cap percentage of 8.5. So if I'm reading that correctly, then it makes sense. But you also got to think about it like Nathan McKinnon's contract kicks in next year and he's making 12.6.
Yeah.
And you got Darren Helm, who's like 40 years old and he's irrelevant. Cogliano, unfortunately, as we mentioned last week, he broke his neck. So hopefully all the best to him. But they might not bring him back. Maybe on a very low, like Mark Giordano contract, like 800K, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You got JT Confer, who you're probably going to want to re-sign, but I don't know if you'll have the space to do that. You got Evan Rodriguez, who's a UFA, who's a very solid middle six forward. And then you got Lars Eller, who you just traded for, which they're probably not going to bring back. He's 34 years old. I don't think they're going to waste their time with Lars Eller, but
Yeah, no,
you
that's
got
tough.
Eric Johnson. He's a big mentor on the team, and they might want to bring him back just for locker room purposes. But the big one here, Hayde, Bowen Byram is an RFA. And
Yeah,
they're gonna have
definitely
to
gonna bring back Byram.
yeah, they're gonna have to work out a contract with that. Alex Newhook is also an RFA. So like they're running into a certain type of cap crunch right here, and they're gonna have to get a so like this Landeskog news, you're losing a big player with this. And yes, you can talk about the cap relief, but this guy's your captain and he's like an 80-point player. So it's like you're losing a lot within the window of winning. And who knows if Landeskog even comes back.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, if that's the case, you got to look at it as a yeah. We have to play out as much as we can
Yeah.
because there's no way that we can afford to forfeit this window just because of Landeskog. So I have to imagine that they'll push for striving to be a playoff contender every year until there's a certain answer to Landeskog.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit more difficult now because, you don't have your captain. You don't have a lot of production at one certain position. You're going to have to find it somewhere else. But
Yeah.
you know what? $7 million cap relief. That's 2 good players right there.
Yeah, that's true.
One,
And
3.5, 3.5.
and also like Eric Johnson's making $6 million this year, and he is not even close to that contract.
No.
He's like a maybe $2 million defenseman, if that. So that's another $4 million right there. So you can probably put that towards Byram for sure,
Yep.
Newhook, and then maybe JT. Get those guys back. And then, because like Alex Newhook's an RFA, Byram's an RFA. Maybe an offer sheet comes in from someone else. Who knows? But I think they try and take that cap relief, sign Byram, and then see what happens. Go from there.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a big part of this whole situation now.
Yep, for sure. Last point that I have here, or second last point. Gerard Gallant and the New York Rangers part ways.
Expected.
Yeah, I expected this as well. Gerard Gallant was hired in 2021 and was their 5th coach since 2009. Gallant obviously brought the Rangers to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, but failed to get out of the first round this year after going up 2-0 on their rivals, the New Jersey Devils. I think as like I honestly kind of had a feeling, obviously depending on how far they went. I don't even think this is a hot take. Like if they won the cup this year, they're keeping him. But like I think if it was cup or bust and they were going a different direction with him, personally, I just felt like the writing was in like I don't know. It was just like
It was written in the sand that he was probably going to be canned.
that's the phrase I was looking for. I was
Mhm.
I got like 60% there and I'm like, I don't know what direction I'm going with this. So I'm just not
You're
gonna
usually like a 99% on your references. I can pick up the 1% slack.
I appreciate it. Thanks, buddy. Um yeah, I just like the spark seemed lost. Apparently there's ton of fighting behind closed doors from like media when they're like in the tunnel. Like there's a lot of fighting coming from the Rangers dressing rooms. So I just think like a lot of that must have taken like the fighting and not really seeing eye to eye from coaches' perspectives and everything. Like that must have not gelled well with the team in general. So overall, I don't think Gerard Gallant isn't like I think he's gonna find a new job by next season. Um,
Mhm.
it's just a matter of where. I saw one thing that Ottawa, depending on where they go with DJ Smith, that they'll look into hiring him, and I think that could be a good fit with the team
That
that's
is a
trying to
good
take that
fit.
next step. But Gallant's had success with teams. It's just a matter he hasn't been able to get over the hump. And maybe that says a lot about him, or maybe that says a lot about the players that just haven't stepped up. But I think he's done good enough to at least get given a chance. And maybe if he can, because New York, right when he got hired, they were already in win now mode,
Yeah.
right? So he was coming in. He's like, I have a fat target on my back if I don't perform. So there was
Mhm.
already a shit ton of expectations from the get go. MSG, biggest market in the States. It's like there's too much to go wrong than right.
Yes.
Maybe? But like
I 100% agree.
If he goes to Ottawa, bit more low key, smaller team, potentially new
Yep.
ownership, Mr. Ryan Reynolds or The Weeknd or Snoop Dogg. Like that'd be like
That'd
obviously
be electric.
they're part of 3 different groups, so it's going to be one of
One of the
Reynolds,
3. Yeah.
or The Weeknd. I thought they were all in on the same team. Like, yo, that'd be fucking lit, dog.
That would be the biggest like social media trend setting team,
Oh my
it wouldn't
God.
even be funny. And you know who I think's gonna pull it out? I know Ryan Reynolds is like the man, but fuck, Snoop Dogg is making a name for
Yeah,
himself.
he's
So
he's like saying like I'm gonna be like my job is gonna be like growing the communities. Like I want to be with the fans.
yeah,
And that sounds so appealing to like the
fans.
daughters of Eugene Melnick, who are like the Melnick family after Eugene passed. Like
Mhm.
that probably means a ton of them because the city of Ottawa, they built a family here, and they're like, if you're gonna help like grow the team like that, then like, my God,
All
like,
for it.
yeah. But also, you see what Ryan Reynolds is doing over in Wrexham FC in Scotland, if I'm not
Yep,
mistaken. He's grown that team a
I think
shit
in
ton,
Scotland.
and
Yeah,
he's doing a really good job. And it's not like he's just a bystander and it turned out by luck. Like, no, he's like he I think I think the weekend is like bottom of the totem pole. If I'm not like
I agree. I agree.
it's just so hard to compete with Snoop Dogg, but he also like he's not a huge name in society. Like he's a big name, but you don't see him ever. You know? Like he's not
Definitely
really
not in like the sports enterprise.
and he's also just not as outspoken as the other guys. Like I never really see him
I agree.
in the spotlight. Whereas Snoop Dogg and Ryan Reynolds, I feel like they'll just do a lot more as part of the ownership group.
They're very trend setty.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
obviously like I
yeah,
don't
I
want
agree.
Reynolds to get it because I want him to buy Vancouver, hopefully. Come home, baby. If we can't get Bedard, we may as well get the other Van City.
Yeah, bye. Yep,
But no,
I agree. I so agree.
I think regardless, Ottawa's in good hands with them because I think they're owning that team would be so dope. And I honestly think like Reynolds has proved it already with Wrexham. He's done a really good job over there. And Snoop Dogg has a really good vision of where he wants to take it. And of
Mhm.
course, I haven't heard anything on what the weekend's plans are like with the team because he doesn't really talk. Um, but like I think Ottawa's in good hands with it. But I think Gerard Gallant, if he goes there, Ottawa's up and coming. So they don't really have expectations to go far. Their first step is making the playoffs. So if he goes there with not as big of a target on his back, then like I think he can coach that team well. And I think they can play the play style that Gallant wants, meat potato style with some skill as well. Where like New York never really had that. That was my one thing with them is they don't really have the meat and potatoes type players where I think Ottawa does with like Brady Kachuk being the leader. And I just think like his only target would be if they take steps back. But like I don't really see that with this team and like how good they are. So I think Ottawa would be a good place for him. And who knows what his future holds. But yeah. I just got to think my internet's unstable. Did you hear any of that? Or was I talking to myself?
You were very robot-y, but I let you finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you dissect any of the information I said?
Yep. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
I got the gist of it. I definitely agree. Uh, it won't be as cutthroat. And obviously there's a huge difference between New York media and Ottawa media.
Yeah, a ton.
So if he was jumping from like New York to let's say Toronto, then there wouldn't be a but yeah, you're going to Ottawa, smaller market, might be going through an owner change. Have to imagine it's a better situation.
Yeah, it honestly might be worse in Toronto than New York because it's Canada. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh, let's move on to the last point here. It's gonna be very quick, but I think it needs to be talked about. Vancouver Canucks fined $50,000 for holding um uh I guess illegal, I don't know, lack of a better term, um off-season training um with the players and everything like that. Notable players are Dakota Joshua and if I'm not mistaken, Studnicka was also involved. Jared Studnicka, but Albion was apparently unaware. Younger players wanted some help developing. Henrik and Daniel Sedin were helping the training sessions and a part of the CBA they're not allowed to work at the team facility in the off season. I can kind of understand that low key. Like there's a bunch of different resources to go train.
Right?
And like I think just like going to the team facility, I don't know how, but it just could look fishy with any sort of business going on. That's like, all right, what's happening? Why do you need to work out there when there's like a local rink that like you literally have a practice rink that you can just like go to? Like,
Yeah, right. I don't get why you need to go and use team facilities uh to do like one-on-one training sessions.
yeah, it's like you don't see like NFL players going to the facility to train. It's like, yo, there's literally find a patch of grass and work on slants. Like you don't need
Literally, like
like
last year, fucking Jameis Winston took all the boys to Florida and he went and practiced at his old goddamn field when he was a peewee.
yeah, it's like you don't need to go to the facilities. Like you can find like eight rinks is literally their training, or like Scotia Barn, I guess, is literally their practice arena, their practice facility. It's there for a reason. There's six fucking rinks there. I'm sure you can carve out an hour and a half sometime in there. You're millionaires. I'm sure $175 an hour won't hurt you. Pull out the
Yeah.
wallet, book it, and I'm sure you don't even need to pay. Just be like, "Hey, I'm with the Canucks. We need the ice on this day from 12 to 3." Okay.
Yeah. All right, sounds good. We'll make sure no one's there.
Yeah. Like I'm sure like they can go in after hours, early mornings. I'm sure like obviously beer league's probably going on, but like I'm sure if you're with the Canucks, they can make something work.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. So I just think like dumb move by the players. The Sedins should know better.
Oh, absolutely.
If it truly wasn't known, I'd be surprised. But
Yeah, you got to think Alvin knew something was up. Like, who gave them the fucking keys to the place then?
yeah, yeah, honestly. And it was came at the worst possible time because it was on draft night or draft lottery night, and we needed all hopes for
All
Bedard.
hope,
And
yeah.
that
And then
came
that
out
just came
an
out.
hour before, and I was like, we're probably going
Ugh.
down to like 26 or something like that from 11 somehow. But yeah, not the best way to get the Lux brewed up for Vancouver. But honestly, 50K though for a team is kind of like it's a drop in the bucket, but it's still like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. It's 50K that you guys could have put towards like improving the building.
Pedersen's extension.
There you go. The players or the building itself. Like
Yeah.
now you're just paying Gary Bettman and the NHL more money that they just don't need.
Fuck, now the jerseys are gonna cost like $450 because they gotta make that money back.
Yes, sir.
Oh man. What's the score in the game? Want to check that out for me?
Zeros.
Zeros right now. I just realized that it turned off on Sportsnet for me here because it's on a different channel. But we're gonna finish this episode off with something I wanted to start it off with, but due to time, like I mentioned, I didn't want to waste any time talking about this instead of playoffs. But question of the week, bringing it back, took a few episodes off because there was just so much to talk about.
Absolutely.
Episodes are already 2 hours long without this. So I feel like we got some time to kill here. But question of the week, what sport do you have the best chance at going pro at with 1 month of training?
Oh man.
So you dedicate 1 month to training for one sport from where you are right now.
Yeah.
What sport do you think you have the best chance of going pro at?
Man. That is so tough.
It's an interesting topic. And honestly, like I didn't have an answer for this while I was writing it out because I wanted to like kind of think about it, we can talk it through and just like kind of figure out what path we can go. But like I want to hear an answer on like what you genuinely think, not like maybe if like things go like no, like give me a fucking answer. What do you
generally
think?
that I could.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what do you think you can go pro
My
at with
initial
1 month of
thought was definitely golf, but I'm like, I've been playing golf for like 14 years. practicing 1 month straight is probably gonna improve my game like 2 strokes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just say no to golf.
Golf's probably one of
Any
the hardest things to go pro at, training your whole life.
absolutely.
So 1 month isn't, it could help your personal game and like break your personal record, but you need to be like a +6 at your home course. And I don't think, respectfully, I don't think you are that at your home course.
I mean, like I finished my best ever is a 76 at Golden Eagle South.
And you need to shoot
So
6 under consistently.
yeah, so there's really no chance for me in golf.
Yeah.
So with that, I mean, I have to fuck. Um, okay. Give me a month at practicing poker and I can be the best bullshitter and liar that you'll ever know.
That is a turn I was not expecting. I did not think of poker because it's on Sportsnet, so technically it's a sport.
Also, I'll just search it up right now.
I don't think it should be classified as a sport.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. But is poker a sport or a game? Top answer. Poker is a sport because it is played for entertainment. It is competitive and almost requires both physical and mental prowess in order to consistently play and win at the highest levels.
See, like I don't really believe that, but I mean, like people say, like I've seen like fat golfers and they're still pro, but that involves a lot of physical movement still. Like you still have to be somewhat physically
Yes.
coordinated to be a good golfer. So like I still think golf's a sport for that reason. But like chess and poker for that reason, it's like moving a piece. Like obviously, yeah, mentally you have to be
Somewhat of a card
amazing,
counter.
amazing. But I just don't think that's like a sport. But I'll still give it to you because I think that was really creative. Like I think like that 1 month of playing poker and studying it and like all that sort of stuff and like what's the best cards to play, what's the best bets to do. Like I think that's a really good answer, and I fuck with that a lot.
Boom.
I'm gonna kind of stick with your first pick that you wanted to go with, but I'm gonna minimize it and I'm gonna go mini golf. There's pro mini golf.
There is pro mini golf. What the fuck?
Yo, and if I just practice my putting, go to Eagle Quest multiple times a day, bro. Like
I think you'd have to do more mini golf courses than just Eagle Quest just to get a feel of the greens.
100%. But like I've seen like I don't know how I got there, but I'm on pro mini golf TikTok. 1-0 for who?
Dallas.
Let's go. I'm on pro mini golf TikTok.
I am too.
Yo, those guys are sniping somehow. Like, so I'm like, yo, if I practice for I can get there. And that may have influenced the question because I'm like, yo, is a pro mini golf league? The guys, what fucking sport could I go pro in if I but like there's pro leagues for everything. There's pro fucking beer pong leagues or some shit, and that's probably classified as a sport as well. But yeah, no, mini golf's my answer. I genuinely think like I could have a decent shot because at some point you got to figure out like study the lines and stuff and like the different angles.
Yeah, it's all about angles on mini golf.
Some of the shots they're fucking pulling off is stupid.
I'll tell you what though, you put me on any hole that has to like you have to putt it along like a drag and then it goes up but then has a chance of going down. So you're putting on a hill.
Like the holes on like a ridge?
Not even like a ridge, but like it goes up like 2 feet. And then there's like a platform and it goes off.
Yeah.
You put me on that hole, I'm taking a 10 every time.
Yeah. I thought you were about to say like I'm like low-key good at that. No, I'm getting a 12, dude. It's yeah, I remember going mini golfing with you in Birch Bay, like that mini golf course that we go to all the time. And your dad almost fucking threw Logan in the fucking water. I don't know who was there, but he almost committed a crime because of a hole like that. I think it was a hill like it wasn't like up and down, but it was like one that like the hole was on a hill. So it's
Yeah, yeah,
either you
yeah,
you put it past it and it rolls back
yeah.
in, like that kind of thing. Your dad just couldn't figure it out. And he got so rattled. And it was
It
one
gets
of
the
the
best of you
it,
sometimes.
it does. It really does. But uh I'm gonna post this as a graphic on Instagram on like this question because I honestly think it's very interesting. So head to our social media. Left side heavy underscore Twitter, left side heavy underscore. I'm gonna post them there. What sport do you think you can go pro at? I think it's pretty interesting conversation. But Haid, is there any NFL news that we want to chat about before we bounce?
Well, we did kind of say maybe we would allude to it, and considering we have, some, I feel like it's only right to say this because I know personally when the situation came up last year, it was right around the whole Deshaun Watson,
Yeah,
24 allegations movement, never trust a man, and Bills punter Matt Arzia, punt god, if you will. Like the ceiling for him was the sky. And all of a sudden it came out that he was part of a rape allegation, a gang rape allegation nonetheless. So it looked like it was, first degree, planned out, um, out, and now as per Yahoo Sports and basically all of Twitter now is blowing up, it has come out that his name is completely clean and clear of any sort of allegation. The time that the woman stated that he did this, he wasn't even at a house. He was in a completely different location. And not only was there sex to be had, but it was all consensual with multiple men. So I just want to say that this is the type of shit that just makes me think Sean Oakman, and it's exactly the same. And it's such a tough world to live in because you want to believe the victim. You want to believe the victim, and I feel like society now says that you have to until the suspect is proven guilty. But more and more women who do this make it harder for the women who are actually going through a situation like this to actually speak up. And there's no real telltale on who or what you should believe until there is video evidence and you can visually see for yourself and identify who is who. So with all due respect, Matt Arzia, I hope you get another chance in the NFL. I hope the Bills reinstate you, and hopefully no hard feelings. It's a business, it's a PR move. But this woman should be for
yeah.
life.
It's so ridiculous because I don't want to like pull this card and I don't know how insensitive this is, but I constantly get reports and I see comments. I don't get reports. I see comments and stuff and see reports about like the system is broken for this poor girl who was like this guy was Mr. blah 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 blah. But then when you see this bullshit constantly pulled about a woman coming out and like laying down fake allegations to ruin a guy's career. You see it with Jonathan Majors in Hollywood as well. Like he got sexual assault charges, if I'm not mistaken, and she redacted them. And as soon as they came out, two of his major contract deals turned on him. And it's like just on a dime, you're ruining a guy's life, career. We know
Well,
Sean Oakman, like stuff like this. It's like you talk about the system being broken, but then you see this shit coming out. You wonder why the system is broken because who are you to trust anymore? If you're constantly laying down fake allegations and ruining people's lives, like what the fuck are you expecting? If like it's so hard to trust anyone anymore. And like I want to believe the victim as well with you, but it's like I always wait to judge anyone until there's further investigation involved because obviously like Deshaun Watson and who's the Dodgers pitcher that um you know who I'm talking about? What's his name?
Switch it
What's
up because
his
I'm gonna be pissed.
what's his name? People are probably
Uh,
uh
Bauer.
Trevor Bauer.
Trevor
Like
Bauer.
stuff came out on him and like the victim was talking about like taking vacations and everything, and then the girl replied and be like, you should be acting a little bit more stunned and depressed right now than you are right now because it's just not going to look good on you. And when those leaked, it's like, all right, well, now like I was against Bauer, but now that doesn't really look good. That kind of helps his case that she's completely bullshitting this whole thing because like things like it's just so hard to trust right now. And it's like you're seeing no consequences for these girls who are faking it. And it's like you should be getting the
Hmm.
same thing, if not worse, than what the like
I almost say you should get worse forehead, but then there's also some sort of like misdemeanor fact that has to play in and say you this out and tried to ruin this guy's life
yeah.
for at all. Like both of you people are innocent people that if no one had talked, no one had said anything, there would be no issue with you or your character at all. But now that you have, A, I have so much more respect for Arzia because even when that nothing was coming out, I was always thinking about like, why haven't I heard anything? And
Yeah.
now whoever this woman is, it should be absolutely clowned on and absolutely should be just thrown into the slammer with no hesitation because like I said before, she's ruining it for every woman who can't speak up. And it's just going to make no one believe actual rape victims.
Yeah. It's like it
We can't have that in society.
yeah, it's what is making the system broken, or at least it's not the
It's the biggest factor.
it's the biggest factor, but obviously the system isn't really 100%
It's not
regardless.
perfect. No.
But this isn't helping when people are constantly filing false allegations because if you're constantly coming out and saying like, "Oh yeah, she gave him a false one," it's like, how is anyone supposed to believe anymore? It's like the boy who cried wolf, right? It's the boy who cried
Exactly.
wolf. It's like you keep calling out fake shit, and then when something actually happens, it's like, how are we supposed to believe the next person?
I agree.
And it's just like you said, you put it perfectly. It's not fair for the people who are actually sexually assaulted, right? Whatever. And it's like it makes it hard. So I really hope um what's his name again?
Matt
Araiza?
Arzia.
Arzia. I'm thinking Trevor Ariza from the NBA. Arzia. I really hope that like he finds justice and gets put on a new team because he's a very high talent. And I think it's only fair that he's given another chance because what happened to him was fucked.
He was 21 years when that that happened.
And he was one of the
He's a kid.
he was coming out of college as one of the best punters in college as well. So it's like yeah, it's ridiculous. So I hope he finds justice in it all, and I hope everything goes well for him going forward.
I I agree.
All right. Is there anything else, Hayden?
Um, no, nothing really too much. The schedule comes out uh tomorrow. This episode's uploaded on Wednesday. So I can't wait to see all of the great videos that the teams do of some of the teams' schedule release videos.
Oh
I
yeah.
think the Chargers won me over last year with theirs. Um, But no, schedule release. Oh, supports just of like looks like Kadarius Toney could actually play like a Tyreek Hill role. That was a big report. And then Saints Kendre Miller actually significant role with a three-headed beast running attack. And then yeah. Oh, that's pretty much it. There's always little shit that pops during the day, but never anything that's really significant unless you look at it. Other than okay, I guess the Bucks could potentially sign Zeke Elliott. So who knows?
Yeah.
Although I think he's washed.
Like like I texted you earlier, like he has the potential to be an impactful player, but I don't think he scares me anymore like he used to. Like he might break out for
No.
150 yards and 2 touchdowns one game, but then he might go on a 4 game streak of getting no more than 40 rush yards on a Bucks team that isn't threatening anymore. I don't really see this signing impacting much. I think instead of just being a very signing all the way through, it'll be like a roller coaster that has more lows than highs.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think still like if you can sign him for cheap, it's worth a shot in the dark signing him. Why not? He had success at one point, so I don't think his style of play is lasts long, and I think that's proven. But I mean, I
Mhm.
think the Bucks roster right now, it's a bunch of like we're just gonna kind of throw a ton of signings together and maybe we'll be competitive in a not so competitive division. So like maybe we strike gold. But right now they're not really rebuilding, they're like retooling on the fly and just hoping to stay afloat is where I see their roster at. And will it work? Probably not, but who knows? Did you catch any of that?
I heard they're not really rebuilt, and that was it.
They're not really rebuilding. They're like retooling on the fly, kind of. They're just kind of like signing people here, signing people there, and hoping to strike gold
Yeah.
in a not so competitive division. And maybe it works out for them to
Yeah.
get lucky. That's kind of like what they're doing. But yeah, I don't think this roster is going to do anything with that signing.
I agree.
All right, let's finish this off because my fucking internet is like, it was already shit, and now it's just like slowly crapping out.
Yeah.
But I don't have any effort to edit this, so like people will notice. Um, hey, where can people find you?
On Instagram and Twitter at Hayden_Barton.
You can follow me on Instagram at Jevon.Lefave, on Twitter at JevonLefave. Find everything for the show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at leftsideheavy_, and subscribe to the YouTube Left Side Heavy. And you can listen to me on the Radio Player Canada app at 7:30 CKDM. I'll be live on radio Wednesday night. So tune in if you are interested. 7:30 CKDM, listen live on the Radio Player Canada app or their website. So love that. Thank you so much for listening. And we will see you next week. Peace.